The fastest day of the week, qualifying Saturday, and we're here in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, good job, mate. Really, really well done. That was a fantastic drive. Bring it home.
It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory. So we go into battle once more then as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 16 corners here at Yas Marina circuit, 7 to the right and 9 to the left. It's a total lap distance of 3.28 miles, 2 long straights and overtaking opportunities throughout the lap. And we expect average speeds of around 123 miles per hour. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Mark Webber lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Norris, Yuki Tsunoda, and Antonelli, Sainz, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, and Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Albon, George Russell, Doohan, Ocon, Massa, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Liam Lawson. Gasly, Behrman, Hulkenberg, and Isaac Hadjar rounds off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. And alongside me today, a man small in stature but big on comment, Anthony Davidson. Hello. What a day this could be today. A day of days, but for who? The title awaits one of our drivers. And what a season it's been.
Comes down to this, doesn't it, Crofty? This one moment, the final race of the year. It's been a hard-fought season. You're in the mix. You're in the fight for the Drivers' World title. Comes down to this moment. You've got to deliver when it absolutely counts.
If you go away from this weekend having not given it everything, you're going to be devastated and disappointed for months. So let's get out there and give it a really strong finish and leave it all out on the track. Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power. Okay, DRS is now available. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 18.8 seconds.
He's made his mark today. It's victory for Mark Webber.
Well, great victory today for the final race of the season, and you take that energy with you through the end of the year, through the winter break, and it's important because your team lives off of that. You want them to deliver you the best possible car for the start of next season's campaign.
Welcome then to the podium, our top three drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race. Welcome back to Qatar and the Lusail International Circuit. There's a long history of two-wheeled motorsport action here, but in 2021, Lewis Hamilton won out as part of an epic battle that year with Max Verstappen. But who will win out tonight? We're back here in Lusail for a track that's 3.34 miles long. There are 16 turns around its unique three-prong shape and just a single DRS zone out of turn 16. It's fast and it's flowing, and there's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS down the long straight and into turn 1. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Mark Webber yesterday puts him on pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Sainz, Tsunoda, Antonelli, Piastri, and Lando Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, and Hülkenberg, Lawson, Gasly, Felipe Massa, and Gabriel Bortoleto, Behrman, Doohan, Albon, and Isaac Hadjar rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson. So we come to Qatar this weekend, and what's the word I'm looking for when I think about the middle part of this track? Relentless.
The whole track's relentless. It's predominantly built to be a motorbike circuit. For an F1 car, that means a lot of G-force. It's hot here, it's humid this time of the year that we come to in Formula One, and this puts pressure on the drivers. It also puts pressure on the car and the demands of the tyres. So it's a brutal circuit.
Okay. Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power. We can now use DRS. DRS now available. Good job, that was the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. Gap to your teammate behind, 18.5 seconds. Yes, we've done it! You are the world champion! Oh, what a win, what a season! We are going to celebrate hard tonight, my friends. Bring the car home. Nice one.
And with that, another year of Formula One draws to a close and a new World Drivers' Champion is declared. Another entry added to that prestigious list of the sport's most incredible drivers. The man from down under has turned the tables here this afternoon. It's victory for Mark Webber.
And with 5 race victories now in a row, Crofty, I mean, do we just give them the trophy now? It's for the others, surely, to try and stop that, because if that's how we're feeling, what must they be feeling as the competition for them? But I mean, what competition is there? They're running away with this championship as we speak.
The faces on our top 3 look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all. It's the entertainment capital of the world, and our entertainment tonight is high speeds down the Las Vegas Strip. Welcome along to the Vegas Grand Prix. Well, tonight we go racing around the bright lights of Las Vegas, 3.8 miles under the Nevada night sky and thousands of neon lights. There are landmarks everywhere you look, punctuating the 17 corners and 2 DRS zones. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Mark Webber lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Antonelli, Alex Albon, and Russell, Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, and Lando Norris, Tsunoda, Stroll, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Piastri, Sainz, Lawson, Nico Hülkenberg, and Felipe Massa, Hadjar, Gasly, Doohan, and Ollie Behrman rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me in the commentary box today, a man who I always look up to, which is easier said than done, Anthony Davidson. Quitting while you're ahead, not spending too much on the slot machines and trying to get some decent sleep. That's my main 3 challenges here in Las Vegas, but what about the drivers?
Yeah, speaking about the on-track challenges, Crofty, enough about you and your challenge over the weekend. This track, you're on Monza downforce, don't forget. So every corner that comes your way, you've got way less grip than you're accustomed to in a Formula One car. So you've got to tread carefully, particularly around the higher speed content on the circuits.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the internal combustion engine. Be aware that we're going to start to see a loss of power. DRS now enabled. DRS enabled. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Final lap, final lap. Push, push. Awesome driving today. That's 4 race wins in a row.
Not bad for a number 2. I'll give it a number 1. Victory for Mark Webber. A show-stopping performance from the 3 drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.